Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So we have a very famous doctor here. Dr. Kevin Usry is someone, if you like natural medicine, if there's such a thing, natural medicine. Is there something, natural medicine's okay? Or,
kind of a misnomer, but that's fine,
okay.
Yeah.
So Dr. Usry has been writing for our magazine now, and you learn a lot. I know that we really talked about treating peripheral neuropathy, but then this last article was all on insurance. And, you said it was a quagmire, and I don't know why. It doesn't have to be, does it? For
peripheral neuropathy?
No, well, it's for insurance. It's a quagmire for insurance.
We have a peripheral neuropathy program, and I've addressed the treatment for this particular syndrome. I've addressed how it's caused. The third article I wrote was trying to explain why Medicare doesn't participate with our program. And it's quite simple. Years ago, chiropractors were given the ability to charge Medicare for spinal adjustments. And so Medicare will pay for spinal adjustments if you can justify with a recent history of injury. Oh, I reached to get a dish. I reached over to pull things out of the garbage, out of the dryer, out of the washer, and I hurt my back. And so Medicare will pay for that. We don't do spinal manipulation with our treatment program. Spinal manipulation is not going to address the issue of peripheral neuropathy. While it's very important, it's one of the cornerstones of our profession, to address peripheral neuropathy, we really need to work with the blood vessels. So Medicare doesn't pay for that. Medicare pays for medication, and if you want medication for this syndrome, your medical doctor, your podiatrist can all provide that. What we provide is light therapies, vibration therapies, amino acid therapies, TENS unit therapies. Those are all designed to repair the damage that's caused to the feet as a result of the lack of proper circulation. Those nerves have starved for a long period of time. They've died off. We're able to regrow the nerves. We're able to return the sensory damage back to normal. We do this using these therapies that I just mentioned. Plus, the patient is with me once a week, and we delve into what caused the problem to begin with so that we can address that, and this way the problem doesn't come back.
Well, this is a rare discussion. Unfortunately, we don't have too many of you. People like you are almost the thing of the past because of all this medication and all the other things, and I'm a natural person. I love the fact that you will do things like this.
Well, peripheral neuropathy is not the only thing we do. We're an applied kinesiology clinic, so we address all functional problems that occur to people. And most of the time, when people are suffering with one symptom or another, it really is a functional issue. This is why many of them go to their medical doctors, and the medical doctor doesn't know really what to do with that particular problem. Medicine deals with disease and pathology quite well, but if you don't have disease and pathology, the patient is kind of put on their own responsibility to find someone who can help them with their issue. And those are usually functional issues. So you look for a doctor of function. That's chiropractic.
Doctor of function, I love it. Well, you have Richard Bernstein is on we really now have Dr. Usry on Facebook Live, and I know Richard Bernstein. I think it's the same one. He's a pretty distinguished person. He sells life insurance, but he's a big contributor and charitable person. So I'm glad he's on here watching you. Getting back to what you said, I remember I used to go to an osteopath years ago. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. I'm trying to remember his name now, up in Palm Beach Gardens. And he was fantastic. And he did the manipulation. And he believed in natural. I guess when you're an osteopath,
The only one I know who does that is William Stanger. and he's quite a traditional osteopath. He's really a remarkable physician.
Right, and and there aren't many of them left there.
No, not at all.
But their training was fabulous. I mean, I guess are they MDs or they're just an osteopath? I mean, I don't know what is the actual DO? No, what is it for an osteopathic physician?
That's a DO.
A DO.
Osteopathy started in Kirksville, Missouri in 1893. Dr. Still, Andrew J. Still was the developer of osteopathy. He was a medical doctor, but medicine wasn't very organized in those days. He was one of the doctors that came out of the Civil War, operating on, all of the injured soldiers. He was in a group of people that believed you needed to wash your hands before you went to a patient and started working on them. Yeah, just a crazy idea, right? At any rate, the osteopaths believed if you had proper circulation, if your circulation was not impaired, you would have health. They believe manipulating the spine and different aspects of the extremities would give you adequate circulation to help you maintain your health. Interestingly enough, in 1892, in Iowa, D.D. Palmer developed chiropractic, and his belief was if you keep the nervous system functioning without impairment or impediment, then you would have good health. So
was that the Palmer method?
Yes, absolutely.
I remember reading about that.
So they both had very similar areas from where they came from and similar philosophical approaches towards health. The osteopaths, I think, really were at one point the most versatile physician you could go to. They could do surgery. They could give medicine. They do manipulation. Now, the MD is not the gold standard. No. Okay, so the DO and the MD have equal status, if you will, and they are the ones that do pharmacology and surgery. And so nowadays, if you really weren't paying attention to the end of the name with the letters, you wouldn't know whether you were going to an osteopath or an MD. But we digress. I'm a chiropractor. So
but you're a different kind of a chiropractor. There are wonderful chiropractors. But you have somehow developed certain fields that you like. Just like I don't think all chiropractors can help people with peripheral neuropathy. But this is something you specialize in.
Only because I had an interest in it. I mean, if another chiropractor decided to have an interest in this and went out and developed the protocol, got the tools, they could be very good at doing this. We actually should probably be cornering the market because, frankly, medicine isn't interested in dealing with it. That's why they give gray market medication for this condition. The Cymbaltas, the Neurotins, the gabapentins, none of those medicines were developed for peripheral neuropathy. They were developed for seizure control and for depression.
Well, let me give everyone, I know that you'd like to know how to get in touch with Dr. Usry. It's really important that you listen. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio, and I'm going to give you the phone number. It's 561-863-8779. Again, 561-863-8779. And their website is allamericanwellness.com. allamericanwellness.com. And it's Dr. Kevin Usry, USRY. And I have to just tell you, you can even see him on, of course, on the Facebook, but he's quite a dashing looking gentleman, and he's always smiles. He's so very helpful, and I'm really glad that you're doing this with us. I loved your articles, but maybe we need to let's go back into the insurance, something that you have. I've always felt, Dr. Usry, that if you need help, it's the best place to spend your money. So even if there's no insurance on something, you spend the money on clothing, you spend it on travel. This is your body without taking care of it. And I know there are probably times where you're just so frustrated because the government decides who's going to pay for what, and it's so unfair.
Well, years ago we used to go to the old family practitioner, and we'd pay him a certain fee.
Or you trade chickens and eggs.
Well, I don't want to encourage that.
Day.
I don't want to encourage that.
I know.
But, yeah, you would see your family practitioner. He knew who your spouse was. He knew about your kids. Everybody went to him. This is the type of practice chiropractors look to have. We're the new family practitioner. We're the type of person who really has a genuine interest in knowing what's going on with your family, taking care of your family, and keeping them healthy, not waiting for them to get sick. This is the only profession that's proactive in keeping people healthy. The only other profession that does something like this is dentistry. Yeah,
really?
well, most of us go to the dentist to get our teeth cleaned, right? We don't go in pain. We don't go thinking, oh, there's something wrong with my teeth. We go for maintenance. And if we're lucky, we get in and out and our teeth are cleaned, and that's fine. But when the dentist comes to check us at the end, sometimes he finds things like a cavity or something. And I'm thankful my dentist finds that, and I don't have to go in with a cavity and in pain. And the dentists taught us in the 50s and 60s, while they were taking all our parents' teeth out and giving them dentures, that you don't go to the dentist when you absolutely have to. You go to the dentist regularly. Same thing with your spine. You go to the chiropractor regularly. Keep your spine in line. Your nervous system functions normally. Now it can regulate all the other systems in the body. You may have some nutritional needs. The chiropractor can address those. We do something unique in our office. We're an applied kinesiology clinic.
I love that.
So we do muscle testing and we do a lot of nutrition in the office, and we treat a lot of other conditions besides peripheral neuropathy. But since this is the reason I came on board here to talk to you, I want to try and keep it towards the peripheral neuropathy and, as you say, the insurance. Let's go with secondary insurance. People come in and they say, well, I have Medicare and I have secondary. Will that cover everything? The secondary insurance policies are there so you don't have to put in a copay every time you visit a doctor. Medicare pays for certain things. If Medicare pays for those things but not all of those things, the secondary insurance will pay for it. If Medicare doesn't pay for it, the secondary insurance doesn't pay for it. Now, we bill Medicare. By law, we have to do that. So the patient will eventually, when Medicare gets around to it, send them an explanation of the fact that, no, we don't pay for any of these services.
Well, that's, I know that we're talking about peripheral neuropathy, but I'd like to just talk about, if you don't mind, applied kinesiology one more time.
Oh, sure.
I love that. And,
sure.
I've had it done on me, but I don't understand how it works.
Well, applied kinesiology was started by Dr. George Goodhart of Detroit, Michigan. It was started in the 60s, so it has certainly stood the test of time. We have over 66 peer-reviewed papers that are published on applied kinesiology. We are in the Medica Index for many different subjects regarding applied kinesiology. It's basically muscle testing. Many people have seen it. Usually it's done almost as a parlor trick. It's not. Right. It's a serious evaluation of the function of your neurological system. And we use the musculoskeletal system to garner that information, much like a medical doctor garners neurological information from a deep tendon reflex. The deep tendon reflex is very informative neurologically as to how a person is functioning. The muscle test is exactly the same type of neurological loop that we're testing. It's a monosynaptic reflex.
And I've had that happen where I've had vitamins tested. I've had that years ago. I remember I did all these kinds of things. I did chelation therapy. I put my foot into a bucket with certain things in it.
Foot baths.
Yeah, foot baths, and it came out,
Sure.
orange or whatever.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I believe in these things so much, but I never understood, because the chiropractor, whomever did that on me, was able to say, no, you shouldn't take this. Yes, you should.
Right.
And it was always a mystery to me.
Well, it's a way of gaining insight neurologically as to whether something is going to function well with the body or not function well. Your body's like a computer. So the binary language of a computer is X or O. Yes or no? All right. So when we're looking for a reflex response from the patient, say we have the patient move their eyes to the right. Well, that's new sensory input into the brain. And so now we test the motor system to see, is that okay with the body? Is that not okay with the body? When you talked about a vitamin, yes, putting something on the tongue stimulates the taste buds. It goes right to a particular neurological pathway called the tractus solitarius, right to our hypothalamus. So there's an instant recognition whether the vitamin is going to be beneficial or not beneficial. And you don't have to use muscle testing to find that out. You can use a typical standard neurological test or a range of motion test, and you can see the results right away.
Well, I have actually, when they did it, I actually held it in my hand.
That's not applied kinesiology.
It isn't.
No, that's more the parlor trick.
But yet my arm wouldn't go down, and then it would go down, so it's still a parlor trick? Or is it mental?
The International College of Applied Kinesiology does not endorse the utilization of handheld evaluations. We can explain scientifically why you will test well or not test well when a vitamin or a nutrient is placed in the mouth on the tongue. But in the hand, there is no scientific evidence to back that up. Do I think there's no validity there? No. I think there is validity there. But that's not applied kinesiology. I'm a diplomate in the International College of Applied Kinesiology. What we do in our office is very strictly done to follow the protocols and guidelines.
So in other words, if I wanted to have my vitamins tested by you, I'd have to take one and put it in my mouth, not swallow it. Put it in my mouth for you to be able to tell me if it's good for me.
Yes.
Interesting.
Appropriate for you.
Appropriate.
Some things can be good for us, but they may not be appropriate. Vitamin C in too high a dose might not be appropriate. But vitamin C might be appropriate. We have many patients come in who take mega dosages of different vitamins E and C and such. And sometimes you can overload the body with too much. So we can look and tailor make a program for a patient that has certain needs.
So since you and I are both dog lovers, can we do that with a dog? Have you ever done applied kinesiology with a dog? He's thinking.
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Because they're really very similar, I guess, to us in so many ways, right?
Yes, absolutely. Dogs receive acupuncture. Dogs receive nutrition. Dogs are not human beings, of course, and so guidelines and protocols must be different. But dogs can certainly avail themselves of natural health from many different types of sources.
I'm sure that our listeners, our radio listeners, as well as our Facebook watchers, are as impressed as I am with Dr. Usry. I have to just tell you, he's not only charming, but he is so smart. So let me give you a way that you can make an appointment with him. And they're located on Prosperity Farms Road up in Lake Park, Florida. But the phone number to call, remember, Pencil Talk Radio, put your pencils to a paper, save it somewhere. Don't put it on a sticky somewhere, put it in a little book. It's 561-863-8779. Again, 561-863-8779. And the website is allamericanwellness.com. How long have you been practicing?
33 years.
Is that all? You look so young. 33 years. And why did you decide to be
62 this month.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
60. Oh, so you're not even on Medicare.
Not yet.
We don't need to be. So when you were in school, why did you decide to become a chiropractor? What were your options? What had you thought about? It could have been
I was a paramedic, firefighter. I was working for Broward County Emergency Medical Services. I was going to nursing school. I wanted to be an anesthetist. I had not heard of chiropractic until I was 23 years old. And when someone told me what a chiropractor was, I instantly said, that's what I want to do. So a lot of my friends have miracle stories where they went in and they couldn't move and this. I don't have that miracle story. It just was a matter of I heard what they do. That was for me. And the next day I wrote to the government and got all the information and started my journey to be a chiropractor.
And where did you go to school?
Los Angeles College of Chiropractic out in California.
Why did you do that? Well, you lived here and then you decided to go out there?
Yeah. At the time there was a coup, I guess, with the school where they took a lot of the faculty from USC in California, and these were administrative people, and that to me seemed like the best type of school. You know, you needed administrative people to run a school, and you needed chiropractors to teach and MDs to teach, but that was the only school I found where they had, true administrators from a reputable university.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you moved out there. How long did it take you to become a chiropractor?
Well, you have to get a bachelor's degree, so it's 4 years of a Bachelor of Science. And then the chiropractic program is 5 years long. You can do it 3 1/3 years if you go continually, which is what most people opt to do. The traditional college is you go for 2 semesters and you're off for the summer. In many of these postgraduate programs, you can go year round, and this way you gain a semester each year. So yes, it's a 5-year program, but you can finish in 3 1/3 years. And
so
then
you were young.
Not so much. I was 29.
Okay.
A lot of my brethren in school, they were 23, 24. I had already had a career as a paramedic.
Yeah.
And, so that was my actual third career that I picked.
And so you've been doing this for 30 some odd years.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
That is fantastic. And I want to go back to peripheral neuropathy. I know that so many people are, and I think I've said this before, when they go through their cancer treatments, it seems that they wind up with peripheral neuropathy. Explain why that is.
Well, chemotherapy is a very radical therapeutic to try and save a person's life who has cancer. Some of the biochemical pathways that the body has to develop new cells have to be arrested or embarrassed, meaning you have to block or truncate them. And many times that damage can be permanent if it's not addressed properly. And it is a very common reason people come into the office with peripheral neuropathy. It's the third most common reason, actually.
And so tell us what it feels like. What do they say? You've probably never had it. So
oh, my gosh. Numbness and tingling, pins and needles, burning sensation. My feet feel like lead. It feels like there's a pad under my foot. I can't feel my feet. I can't feel the gas pedal when I push it. I can't feel the brake pedal when I push it. I feel like I'm going to fall every time I get ready to go into the shower. My bathroom's dangerous. There are some scary things that we hear. One patient, I think he was about 92. He was 6'5", and he came in and told me he was 33-0. And I said, well, what does that mean? He says, well, I've fallen 33 times. I haven't broken anything.
Oh, my heavens.
So real tough guy. But this is the common thing that happens is people fall, and most of the time they hurt something, and their life becomes very disrupted. And this is the danger of peripheral neuropathy. It's more than just a foot problem. It's a brain problem. The information coming from our feet must go to our cerebellum. That's the small walnut-sized area of our brain in the posterior or behind in our skull. The cerebellum controls what's known as proprioception. That's having that awareness of where your body is at any given time. We go up the flight of steps. We don't look at each step. We do if we have proprioceptive problems. We have to make sure our foot's landing on that step. But most of the time, we don't even think about it.
Oh, my goodness. That's That is really something. So peripheral neuropathy, and of course you said people who have other problems should come to you also, but we are focusing with you because you find this to be a major problem today, don't you?
It's huge. It's just huge.
So if someone goes to their MD with this, you're saying that they could, not that they could care less, they don't know what to do, and they start feeding them different kind of medication where you really do apply certain exercises. What do you do with a person that comes in that has that?
Well, first we sit down and chat.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're about up on time.
No, you know what? I have someone else calling in. If they don't call in, keep going. You're
Okay.
so good, and when they do,
fine.
we'll stop.
First of all, you come in and we'll chat, and there's no charge for that. And we'll ask the patients, if they've been to the neurologist or the podiatrist or their internist or family practitioner. Usually they say yes. We're definitely not the first people that patients think about when they have peripheral neuropathy. No. So they say, yes, I've been on the medicine. I'm not happy with the medicine. The medicine's not working. The medicine made me crazy. I got off of it. That was all they had available to them from their various physicians. So what we do is we'll do a severity exam. We look at the person's balance, and we stack the balance, seeing what they can do. Can they put their feet together? Can they put their feet together, close their eyes? Can they lift their foot up as if they were getting into the shower? This brings out for the patient and for the doctor where the neurological deficits are. We do a sensory input evaluation. We do a myotome evaluation, which looks at spinal nerves, because sometimes that can be a coexisting problem. So we look at all the things that may be giving the patient dysfunction and create problems where they can fall. That runs $70. The person comes back in, and we have calculated the damage. We explain to them our program, how many weeks they may need to come, and explain what the cost is, and they can get started.
All right, so let's say someone comes in. So are your treatments like physical therapy? What are the treatments?
We use 3 different sources of light therapy: class 4 laser, 2 class 3 lasers, and LED lights. Energy medicine has been around for a long time. We started endorsing it in the United States in 2001. We were using lasers in our clinic in 1997. You had to sign a waiver because they weren't even approved by the FDA in those days. So the patients get those laser therapies. They're all designed to dilate blood vessels and return blood vessel function. And, of course, when that occurs, the nerves will start to regrow and regenerate. We use vibratory therapies on the calves, on the feet. We have a vibration plate patients stand on. Perfectly safe. There's handles. They hold on to it. We use a laser which integrates the proprioception. These vibration plates bring information from the feet to the brain 30 to 50 times a second.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you have people who have almost no information getting to the brain, and when they come in, we start just blasting that whole area and getting sensory input back to the brain so that they function normally again.
So you're spending time with these people to do this.
It's 35 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
And when they come in with me once a week, we spend 15 minutes looking for the causes. I have a 32-step protocol I follow to look at every aspect that may cause peripheral neuropathy.
So you actually, I get the feeling from just how clear you are and how advanced you are. Would you be a personal physician for someone? I mean, someone who just wants to be well and they would come with you? They don't have any
we
problem?
do that all the time. We have wellness plans. People come on for a year, and they pay us a certain fee, and we see them and keep them well.
Yeah,
we monitor their blood pressure. If they have blood pressure issues, we address them with natural methods. We evaluate fatigue, digestive problems, headaches, hormonal problems. There are so many functional problems people have every day that they deal with, and they may or may not be taking medications needlessly for.
You know, Dr. Usry, I have to tell you, you know that we do cure symposiums, and I am going to invite you. I want you to be one of our distinguished speakers where we have either in October or November, because I'm sitting here with my mouth open. I cannot thank you for not only being so articulate, but being so advanced in what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much.
I thank you so much for that. And